Hello, today I'm going to show you how to create a poap and talk about what they are and why you might want to use them. So a poap stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol, and they're like digital badges or collectibles, so people can collect them for events that they've attended. You can use them to kind of like remember that you've been places, so they can be really fun. And issuers of poaps can also give the collectors rewards based on how many poaps they've collected and things like that. So for example, if you attend a concert and by attending a concert you receive a poap, you'll now be able to look back and remember that you've been to that concert and kind of like collect that moment in time. Poaps can also be given for attending audio spaces, like if you use Twitter Spaces, people that listen in can collect poaps. And one of the examples that I have for this is Metrics DAO, which is like a blockchain data community. They teach people how to do data analytics using blockchain technology. They teach people that through their Discord, and they have live hosted events, and they also have Twitter Spaces. And by attending these events, during the space, you can fill out a form with your wallet address, and then they'll issue you a poap. And based on how many poaps you collect throughout the month, you're then allowed to vote on certain features in the community. So I thought that was a cool use case for poaps, but you can start to think about them like digital badges or collectibles. And if you start to think outside the box, you'll start to see so many different use cases for them, or ways that you can start incorporating them with your community or just with events that you're putting on, or really anything. So this is where you would go to create your poap, and it is app.poap.xyz. And so you would go to create new poap, or you can scroll through and see all the poaps that have been created. So you would just click here to create a new one. So here's where you would put in what you're commemorating, like why people would want to remember this. So what we're commemorating is the first show of Community and Coffee, which is a new Twitter space that we're putting on Mondays at 10 a.m. And then you would put in why people might want to remember this. Well, this was going to be the very first show. And then you'll scroll down and put if it's a virtual drop, or whether you are giving a poap away in person. So poaps can be gifted for physical events, and if it is, you would just put the location there. Here's where you would put, is it a multi-day drop where people are going to be able to collect that poap multiple days? And if it is, you would click here. You can also put the start date and the end date and the expiry date. So usually you kind of want to put these close together, because if you are doing something virtually, then you run the risk of people minting your poaps without actually having attended your event, which you don't really want to happen. So put them closer together if that's your thing, but you can really choose any expiry date that you want. And your expiry date is going to be the date when people can no longer mint this poap or collect this poap. So that's kind of an important date. Then you can put a website if you have a website to your event or a website to your business. You can choose a template, but usually I stick with the standard template. So then you would put in your artwork, and your artwork has to be in a PNG or a GIF format. And the artwork is usually circular because that's what poaps look like. So I'll show you what I did. So this is the one that I created on Canva, and I did this for the Community and Coffee show. And that's what it'll kind of look like when people collect it. It'll be the circular poap. And if you are old like me and you remember Pogs were like these little circles that you collect. But they were like in person, obviously. They were like little flip Pogs, and I think they're like made out of paper or like cardboard or something. But basically you would collect Pogs. It's kind of like the same thing, but digitally. And so this is what one might look like. You would upload your file and then put your email address in, because poap itself, the company, is going to email you after you submit. And finally, you will put whether it is a private drop, or if it's a test drop, you have to put it as a private drop, and how many private links you are going to want. So a mint link is a link that allows you to send it to a person, and they can collect it from that link. but there's a number of different ways that people can actually collect poaps. So depending on how many people you think are going to actually collect, you can create that many links if you're handing them out manually, but there's also other ways to hand them out. So for me, I put 12 because I know that people are going to be listening in to the audio space or the show that we're putting on. And in the show, I'm going to be issuing a secret word, and using that secret word, people will be able to collect the poap. So I only put 12 just in case people didn't or weren't able to collect in that time, then I could give them the link to actually collect it that way. So after all that's done, you're going to hit save, and what's going to happen is poap is then going to send you a confirmation email. The email is going to show you that your poap has been approved, and it will give you approval for the links that you also requested. You'll usually receive a second email a few hours later actually giving you the links that was created during the poap creation process. And you'll receive a third email that actually invites you into like the poap business as a whole, or community as a whole, I think. And they'll give you 4 links to some articles that you might want to read, because now you're becoming a user of the poaps system or technology. Once you've created it and you've got an email that says your poap has been created and your links have been received, it'll also give you a link to the poap drop section or the drop dashboard. And this is where you'll be able to see all the poaps that you've created for your own drops. So here we have the first show of Community and Coffee, the poap that was created. And if you click here, here's where you can choose how you will issue your poap. So we know that we have 12 custom links if you want to send those links individually. But you could also do it by issuing a secret word through a website link or a QR code, or with a web page where you have like a whitelisted section for collectors that are able to mint your poap. So for the Twitter space, I wanted to do a secret word. So you would click here. It gives you a secret word that you could use, but you can put a different one in. And basically, you just want to create a word that isn't going to be something that people could guess right away. So for community and coffee, I wouldn't use community or coffee as the word. I would use something completely different. You can put your amount, so how many people do you think is going to show up to the space, and how many poaps do you think will need to be created? And then the window of time in which people are going to be able to collect them for. So yeah, I would do it for the 10th, and I would change the time to 10 a.m. And then I would set it maybe for a custom of a window of like 2 hours, because the show runs for an hour. And then you can submit your request, and again, the poap team will approve your request. And then during the show, you'll be able to say the secret word, and then people can mint their poaps using that word. You can also do it with a website and QR code. So again, you would put in your URL, the amount of poaps that you are looking to mint or create, and then again, the same thing with your minting window. So that's how you can create poaps for people to collect and enjoy and remember the events or occasions that they would love to remember and be a part of. Hopefully this helped you in some way, and if you have any other questions, you can leave them in the comment section and I'd be happy to answer them.